Hello friends, welcome back to Havron Excel tutorial. My name is Samson Emelike, and in today we are going to be starting with a video that's going to be among a series of videos we'll be doing on pivot tables. So for this particular videos, we'll be discussing the advantages of tables. Most Excel users may not be aware that there are three types of tables that we use in Excel. The grade table, the officially recognized table, and then of course the pivot tables. So but this video will just be looking at the tables, the one officially recognized by Excel as table. They will look at the features, the benefits, the advantages of working with such tables. All right, so in the next series of videos, we'll be doing an introduction to pivot tables. We'll see how we can use pivot tables to summarize our data, see how we can use pivot tables to sort, to filter, to reorganize, to group, count occurrences, totaling, and then seeing how we can do more extra things with pivot tables. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to click this video tables. Of course, this is an official Excel table. How do you know that? When you click inside the table, you look at up here, you see this tool, table tools. Clicking outside disappears. Okay, so whenever you click on a table like this and those tools come up, you will know that that is an official Excel table. So I'm going to demonstrate the difference between the grade table and the official table. So let me quickly develop a data table here. Say here we have here, and then we have team 1. Now I want to look at sales teams, say about 5 of them, and then let's see what they are doing within the week, say from Monday till Sunday. Now let's randomly generate sales, say between 1,000 and 5,000. Great. And then we drag it down here and bring it here. So because these are randomly generated numbers, I don't want them to keep changing. So I have to fix it. Then after fixing the values, let me go to my home and put on the bands. Great. So let me do my auto fit. All right. So I am going to duplicate this table right now. Just duplicated this table here. Okay. So now when I click here, you won't see those options there. When I click here, you won't see those options here. But when I click here, it appears. That's because this is an official table, this is not. So I am going to convert this to table right now. So I'm going to hit, that's clicking inside here, I'm hitting Control T. Now this window pops up. Here, my table has headers is checked because I actually have headers in my table, and this is the range, okay? H5 to M12, H5 and M12. So I okay it. Now the moment I okay it, the table is still selected. Already you've seen the table tools appearing, okay? Now when you look at this, a lot of things have happened. And this will already bringing out the advantages and benefits of using tables. For instance, you will see that automatically the filter drop down are already inserted by default once you create it. So that's one great feature that tables have. It helps you to filter whatever you want to filter from your table. That is one. Then number 2, you see that these my headers, they are always visible. What I mean by always visible is, assuming this table is a very long one, this one we have converted now, It's a very long one, and you scrolling up and down, and then by the time it gets there, see what happens from here, H up to M. The letters will change to become the headers of your table, so you won't get lost while walking down below the table. Because sometimes when you have a very long table and you're working, you begin to wonder what's the header on this, until you may need to freeze your pen. But working with tables, this helps you, so long as the table is selected as you're scrolling. If it is not selected, it goes off, even if you are scrolling. Okay, so even the same thing here. These are the headers for this particular table. And when I click here, this is now highlighted and it goes off away from here. Now, it is not the same thing with this because this is not a table. All right, so these are the features or the advantages of working with table. First is the drop down that is automatically activated. Next is the columns that are always visible even if you scroll and go in, and the headers go behind these column headers. The other thing is that it has a total column. What I mean by that is, right now I have selected this and these two options have come up. Now clicking this design will bring out these other commands. Now look at this. I'm going to check this and see what happens to the table. When I click this table, this row comes, and now this is telling me that this is the total for here. Now I have the option to insert whatever I want to do here. Say for instance, I want to find out what is the average sales for team A within this week. So this is the average. I might decide to change to, okay, I want to find out what is the maximum sale. This is the maximum sale which occurred on which day? Maximum, it occurred on Thursday. All right, so it's the same thing for each of these columns. You can actually do whatever you want. This is not available when you keep working with this kind of table. Right. Now, the other advantage is that it beautifies your table with banded rows and banded columns. What I mean by these banded rows, for instance, this is selected, and when I come here, these are my banded rows. See what happens by the time I uncheck this. Those bands go off. When I click it, it comes back again. What about the columns? When I click this column, these columns are banded alternately. When I uncheck this, I can have this. So depending on your choice, you can actually choose any of these to make your table look quite appealing. Now, the next thing I want to discuss as an advantage is if I want to make reference to this table, I will say it's from here, which is H5, up to here, which is M13. However, I can simply look at this point here. So long as the table is selected, and in my design option, come over here, you see the name. I can decide to rename this, say this is Havron table. Let's say Havron table. I enter. Of course, you know that while you are renaming here, you don't need space between your text or between your characters. So this is Havron table joined by underscore. So wherever I want to make reference to this table, it's simply this. Okay, so that is a very unique feature that you can use to make your references. And then another advantage is that the name is dynamically changing. Sorry, the table dynamically changes its range. Now, what I mean by that is, look, here is this table is defined by the beginning of this H5 and the ending here, which is M13. Now, if I go ahead and enter here, I say I type something else. Okay, sorry. Let me remove this. Let me remove this total row, and I type here, say this is another Wednesday. When I hit here, you see, it automatically expands. That is how it continues to expand. The same thing happens here. If I say I am typing, let's say I have something else I want to do here, when I enter, it automatically expands. I don't need to select it. I don't need to go and reset the range. This table here, the same table that we are looking at here, this same Havron table has expanded its range dynamically. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about now as a feature is if I decide to say I want to find out the sum of the sales for Monday, see what's going to happen to the rest rows here, the rest cells beneath. When I enter, everything calculates itself. So entering a formula in the cell here brings them down here. So you're at liberty to say, no, this is not what you want. Okay, but it makes your work easy. All right. So these are some of the advantages of working with Excel table. The last feature I want to talk about is filter using your slicer. Now, when your table is selected, still go down to the table tools design, look at my slicer here. And then this slicer, when you click it, it's going to give you options to choose for any of these headers. Like we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 headers. So each of them are represented in this slicer to help you to filter. So for instance, I'm going to be filtering on the day alone. In our later videos, when we'll be discussing pivot tables, we will discuss extensively on pivot table and timelines that you can use to make your dashboard interactive and dynamic. So let's go with this. All right, so there are different ways. For instance, if this is long and I don't want it to be long, even though this is okay, if I don't want it to be very long, I can reduce the length by increasing the columns, and then it comes this way. All right, so when I want to filter, I want to filter what happened on Sunday, for instance. It gives me everything for Sunday. Team 1, Team 2, Team 3 to Team 5. These are their values. What about Monday? It keeps changing. Tuesday, it changes. So you are filtering and you are getting the figures. When you're making your presentations, with the help of this, you're able to filter for each of the units that you want to make presentation on. All right, so these are the great features that make tables very, very exciting to use. All right, so in this video, we've been able to describe about 6 or 7 features. Number 1, the drop-down features that are there automatically when you convert to table. Number 2, the column headers, they keep remaining visible even when you scroll, and they go behind the column headers. Number 3, the auto total that comes in when you activate it gives you the total for each row. And number 4, the name range that is dynamic. As you keep expanding, as you keep typing, the table keeps expanding, either in addition of columns or addition of rows. And then number 6, the magic formulas. Call it magic formulas, because once you do this at one point, okay, so let me clear this filter now and then get back to where we were. You see, we did only insert formula here, and then the rest, even if we had up to 200,000 rules, records, it does that in a flash. Okay, so these are some of the features I thought I should bring to your knowledge, and it will help you to speed up what you do. In our next videos, we'll be looking at some of the other features of pivot tables. We are introducing them, like we said earlier, and we are going to be discussing their uses and working out with practical examples. Thank you for watching, and I hope you really do enjoy this. We encourage you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. so that when we release further videos, you'll get notifications directly sent to you. Thank you once again. See you in the next videos.